This is the NAB AFL Trade Radio Podcast. NAB, backing business in moments that matter.
Two clubs getting things done in trade period 2017, and their paths officially crossed, officially transactioned only moments ago, with Jack Watts leaving the Melbourne Footy Club to go to Port Adelaide in exchange for pick 31. And one of the men from those footy clubs, Josh Mahoney from the Demons, joins us on the line on the late trade. Good afternoon, Josh.
G'day, David.
You are getting busy, and you've managed to do what you set out to do at the start of the trade period. Jake Lever brought in very quickly, very early, minimum of fast. Similarly, when it's all said and done with Jack Watts, it was more complicated given he was contracted, but he's gone to Port Adelaide today in exchange for pick 31. I'd imagine with 48 hours or thereabouts remaining of trade period 2017, you'd be pretty happy with how your club's going to this point.
Yeah, it seems to be already forgotten about the Jake Lever trade. It seems like a long time ago, but obviously we're very pleased to have got that done in the time that we did, and can't wait for him to join us. But on Jack Watts, it's been played out quite publicly over the last 2 or 3 weeks. The discussions we had with Jack, and encouraged him to look at some options after some discussions at the end of the year about his future at Melbourne Footy Club and what may be the best for him. And I got to the stage just this morning where we had a discussion, and I caught up with Jack myself for 15 minutes about what he was going through the last few weeks, where his head was at. And in the end, it was decided that the best thing for him is to start afresh, and the opportunity came with Port Adelaide, and we straight away got the deal done.
Yeah, sure. Now, getting back pick 31 from Port Adelaide, Josh, is it just a matter of that's what Port Adelaide had to offer? There was nothing prior to that, and for ease of transaction, that's pretty much how this one went down?
Yeah, we'd always thought that a second-round pick was about the right market for Jack. And in an ideal world, you wanted to get a little bit early in the second round. But once he decided that Port Adelaide was the club of choice, and that was the first pick they had, we thought it was an easy transaction.
Josh, you said that you spoke to Jack. How was he about the whole scenario? It's played out, as you mentioned, over a couple of weeks. How did he finish up with it all?
Yeah, this morning he was very understanding about the situation, and even now he's seeing that an opportunity for a fresh start could be the best thing for his football. He said publicly over the last few years that he imagined sometimes what his career could be like if he wasn't pick one and he was a rookie pick, that the pressure that he feels going into games could be completely different. So he's seen it as a fresh start. No doubt he's had to get his head around it for the last couple of weeks, and it's been a difficult time for him. But we both leave thinking that this is a good opportunity for Jack to maybe get the best out of his footy, and also the right move for the footy club.
Damo touched on it before, but you have been extremely good at getting these deals done. I mean, a lot of us thought that the Lever situation with Adelaide saying 2 first-round picks could have taken quite a period of time, but bang, it was knocked over very quickly. Really, one of the only things that's stopped this scenario with Jack Watts is him selecting his club. So from the time that he selected his club, I mean, we've blinked and all of a sudden the deal's been done. So the club's is to be commended. And is it something of a strategy that you like to knock them over early?
Not necessarily pick deal by deal. It's just an attitude we've got as a club that we don't look at individual deals by themselves. It's all about the result at the end of the trade period. And if we walk in with a result that we want to get out of the trade period, and if we get that, you can get caught up sometimes talking about pick slides and the benefit of 5 picks this way or that way. But in the end, we want to make our team better from when it finishes round 23 to round 1 the following year. And if we achieve that, which I think we have over the last 2 or 3 years, then we think we've done a good result from a trade period point of view.
Josh, now that it's done and Jack Watts does find himself away from the Demons, just the trauma, in that footy terminology anyway, of going down this path, it hasn't been an entirely popular decision with some of your supporters. It's obviously impactful on the playing list as well, who are close to Jack. But now that it's done, just the way you and others at that footy club have been brave enough to determine this and then enact it, just how have you been with it personally?
Jack is a very well-liked person by our supporters, our staff and our players. And as I said, I caught up with him today, and I really like Jack, and you understand that the reaction from the supporters is going to be the way it is. But we have to make the right decisions for the footy club. We're charged with putting together a team that we think is ability to win a premiership. We think we've done some really positive things over the last 3 or 4 years, and we think this is the right move again as a footy club. But there's no doubt there's some fallout from the feeling of supporters, and a lot of them speak to our footy club and are disappointed about the result. But we have to explain to them the reasons why it's been done. And we've had a number of conversations with supporters that once we explain it, they feel comfortable with it. But we understand the emotion involved because he's, in some ways, been the face of Melbourne Football Club since he got drafted as a number 1 pick. And the pressure that he's had to put upon himself by being that number 1 pick at times has been unfair. But we also understand that people have ridden his career almost season by season, and his career in some way has been depicting of the Melbourne Footy Club's period over the last 9 years. But there's a decision to be made, and sometimes the easiest thing for us as a footy club to do is to make no decision, and we think that it was time to make a decision.
Yeah, it's an adage of Mick Malthouse, isn't it? You've just got to make decisions that sometimes aren't popular, but you do them for the reasons that are right in your eyes. Harley Bellick, Josh, will he definitely be at the Demons by 2 p.m. Thursday?
Yes, we think we'll get a deal done tomorrow for Harley.
And what's that going to require you to do at this stage?
We still have to work that out with Fremantle. But one of our later picks that we've got still remaining in the draft. So we're in a pretty strong position now going to the draft with pick 29, 31 and 36. So to be able to have 3 second rounds when we don't have a first round puts us in a strong position. We haven't had a second round pick for the last 3 or 4 years. So it's hands over to the recruiting team now that have done a great had a great effort over the last 3 or 4 years, and they've made some really good picks around this mark. Mitch Hannon came in as a late 30 pick, so we're confident we'll get three good players with those picks.
Josh, Mitch Cleary on Trade Radio yesterday mentioned in the news segment that Colin Garland and his future might be clouded just with injuries that he's suffered at the Melbourne Football Club. How's all that playing out, and have you had obviously a lot of discussions around Colin?
Yeah, I've had discussions with Colin probably since midway through the year about his future, and we're going to have another discussion tomorrow about it. But he's gone through a tough year with an ACL, and he'll have something to announce there, I think, in the short term.
So it does seem likely that he's played his last game of AFL, Josh, from what you're saying there?
That's still to be finalised, but we've got another discussion with Colin tomorrow.
Okay. Max Gawn, again, just if we go forward 12 months, and I'm sure you're even looking a lot further down the track than even 12 months, but Max Gawn, free agent at the end of 2018, do you, now that you nearly got through the 2017 trade period, do you look at maybe locking him away before the season starts next year?
Yeah, we've been in discussions with Max Gawn's manager, Anthony McConville, now for a few months, and I don't think we're too far away from announcing something there with Max. Okay.
What about between now and 2 p.m. Thursday, Josh? Anything left field outside what we've just discussed here, or at any other stage of trade period 2017?
No, from now on, our priority will be to get a deal done with Harley Bellick, and after that, we'll walk away from the trade period, as I said, with a relatively strong hand in the draft with second round picks, and I think that our team is better again moving forward.
Josh, would you, just with those second round picks, would you be open to having discussions with clubs about bundling them up to be able to do something at all, or are you just pretty much set that you just go in with those two?
We've only had those 3 picks now for an hour or so, and those clubs that would be interested in picks may come to us in the next day or so, and we'll weigh that up. The benefit of getting in a little bit closer against having 3 picks within not far from each other.
Hey, Josh, thanks again, and thanks for what you've done previous to this interview on Trade Radio. You've been very generous with your time and information, and you're getting things done. You got your man in at the very outset of the trade period, and now you've executed the tougher one to find a new home at good compensation for Jack Watts. But you've done that today with Port Adelaide giving up pick 31 for him. Thanks again, Josh Mahoney.
Thanks, guys.